Okay, so this was kind of a spur of the moment video idea. I didn't really take much time to think about what I wanted to say, but I thought of the idea and I was like, instantly, I have so much I could say about abundance. And throughout this video, I'm going to talk about what it truly means to have an abundance mindset and to embody that. People that hear that word and they kind of assume money, they immediately think money, and that's fine. Whatever you think of when you hear the word is fine. But for the sake of this video, for the sake of understanding, like, that's not all it is. Look up the definition of abundance. It really just means, I don't know what accent I'm doing, but it really just means to have a lot of something. Abundance can simply just be having an excess of opportunities. It doesn't necessarily just have to be money, because most people think money, and it's like, if that's all you're thinking about, you're limiting yourself. I disagree with this, and that's fine, but I personally believe that in order to truly be abundant, you have to have the mindset of abundance. Know and understand within every fiber of your being that there are an infinite, did I say that word correctly? Infinite amount of opportunities and possibilities and situations that you could find yourself in. I only had somebody pull some cards for me. I didn't necessarily ask for a reading, I just asked for them to pull cards for me. And one of the cards that came out, well, actually I asked them to pull one card, I think, but multiple cards came out. The Empress card was one of the cards that came out, and it reminded me how literally abundant I am. Like a little less than a week ago, maybe a couple days ago, I don't know, what is time? You don't know the story of tarot. Basically, the Empress she comes right after the Emperor, I believe, and she is the female equivalent to the Emperor. She is someone who, like I said, is very abundant, very queen-like, I guess. I think she's supposed to embody all of the qualities of the queens. I could be wrong about that. I'm pretty sure that's how that goes. Like, the Emperor and the Empress, like, they're all they embody all of the energies of the kings, all of the energies of the queens, etc., etc. Empress is an abundant person. I just had a bunch of water, and I'm like, there's a lot of burps happening behind the scenes, but she's an abundant queen, and I say queen lightly because she's more than a queen. She's literally everything. She's connected to the divine. She is a vessel for enlightenment and love and wisdom, etc., etc. To go back to the energy of abundance and the concept of abundance, in order to have an abundance mindset, you have to truly understand and believe and know that no matter what situation you find yourself in, you can make it out. You can get through it in one piece. Like, you have to truly believe that. You know what I mean? The sort of mindset that I try to embody, and I say try, because sometimes I fall short, I guess, but most of the time I try to have an optimistic mindset. And I've had a lot of people around me who, like, develop some sort of, like, jealousy or envy or whatever you want to label it, because they don't, like, have the same abundance mindset that I have. And it's crazy because I'll try to teach people, I'll try to put people on, and I'll try to be like, you know what, you have to, like, look at it this way if you really want it to be that way, you know? But I don't know, something about that jealousy, and that's another video topic for another day. If I had to speak a little bit on it, a lot of people are very miserable. Also, I'm going into a cemetery because that is part of who I am. That's what I like to do, you know, hang out in cemeteries, take a walk in the cemetery. I don't mean to say this judgmentally, because maybe I've been there at some point in my soul's journey. I don't know, probably. But it's just beyond me how people will, like, look at somebody, look at someone's success, look at someone's abundance, and then instead of, like, taking notes, just being, like, a bitch about it. Excuse my language, but in some cases, people are just, like, major cunts about the success and abundance of others. It's crazy. Part of abundance, because confirmation bias is a thing with our minds and psychology and all that. Like, when you believe something, when you vibe with an idea, you will see proof of it in your reality. So if you are of the understanding that, money always comes to you, you have the ability to make it out of any situation, etc., then when you get in those situations, when you're like minding your business, when you're just going about your day, like, you're going to get reflections of that. You know what I mean? Like, for me, if I were to be transparent, if I were to share, one of the things that like is a proof to me of my own abundance is that I find coins everywhere, like literally everywhere. Like this morning alone, it's almost 8 o'clock. If it's not 8 o'clock, I don't know what time it is. But this morning alone, I found 6 pennies. Like, that's crazy. And it might seem like a little to somebody who doesn't have an abundance mindset. And if you think that that's a little, and if you think that's nothing to celebrate, then this is a video that is supposed to be helpful for you. This is supposed to be enlightening for you. If you really fucking like listen to what I'm saying, like, I guarantee you after this video, you will be a changed person. I want to talk about some nuance for a little bit, because there's nuance when it comes to like the idea of abundance and like getting what you want. Because a lot of manifestation gurus, a lot of people who like talk about getting what you want, manifesting $1 million, etc., a lot of these people, good for them. Like, let me be the first person to clap for other people, even though I don't have any like reason to, like, just celebrate other people's victories. That's also a tenet of being abundant. Like, if you can celebrate other people's victories. But I digress. A lot of these people, a lot of these gurus, a lot of these professionals talk about manifesting money, manifesting your desired life. But a lot of these people actually came from situations where they kind of already had a silver spoon. They already kind of had what they wanted. And so they just built upon it. It's like when Kylie Jenner calls herself when people call her a self-made billionaire, and it's like, okay, babes, that's cool, good for you, but you also literally came from people who were already on that route. And so if it would have been a surprise if you didn't become a billionaire, you know what I mean? It's that sort of energy. But I say that to say that anybody can adopt an abundance mindset. Anybody can develop a mindset for success. It's not like something exclusive to certain people or like people of a certain culture. That's not how that works. Like, everybody has the ability, everybody has the opportunity to develop their character and develop who they are. Personal belief, my personal understanding, if you're watching this video, is that the best place to start is affirmations. Like, it might sound weird at first, it might feel cheesy, you might not believe the words that you're saying, but over time, after a while, you will get to a place where you're like, oh yeah, like, duh, and it'll be more so reminders instead of affirmations, because by then you'll start embodying it. I've been doing affirmations, I don't even know how many years. I'm not really good at documenting my spirituality or my journey in general. I've been journaling the last few years. I've been pretty good about keeping a log of my life, but I don't know. I just kind of experience it, and then I remember it later, and I'm like, here's the wisdom, But specifically for me with affirmations, I've been doing it relatively consistently for the past however many years, and it's been really helpful to me personally. Like, if I'm having a really rough time mentally, if I'm getting a lot of intrusive thoughts, if I'm getting a lot of like, weird energy, sometimes I will like go back to my affirmations and be like, I am strong, I'm confident, I'm safe, I'm protected, I'm loved, I am all these things, because I know them to be true. And then it's just a matter of applying, because like, I feel like a lot of the times people don't really know how to apply this self-help stuff. And I know we're supposed to be talking about abundance, but part of me being abundant is like sharing all the wisdom that I have. And so hopefully, ultimately, this video is helpful to whoever is watching, whoever is like tuned in. I do appreciate you. And I hope you know that you do have the ability to change your life around. You do have the ability to like do better for yourself. And I will say, though the abundance mindset says you can do anything you want, you can have anything you want, etc., that is not without work. That is not without dedication. So 1 second. Check on an offering. I left an offering or whatever, and it seems like They didn't like the offer. I don't know. Maybe that's not the case, but that's what it seemed like, because it was like not in the same place that I'd left it. I feel like this might not actually be relevant to the idea of abundance, but I also want to talk about self-worth, because when you have a good self-worth, when you understand your value and like what you bring to any given situation, no one can take that away from you. Like when you stand firm in like who you are and like your ability to show up as a friend, your ability to be a good employee, your ability to like just be a good, valuable person. When you realize that, when you stand firm in that, I guarantee you, 9 times out of 10, you will encounter people who try to like take you down a peg, who try to humble you and try to like, you know, give you a dose of reality or whatever, or a dose of their miserable reality is how we could say it, because reality is subjective. We all experience reality different. And part of abundance, having an abundance mindset, is understanding that. Sorry, I got like on a fiery tangent. I was like, whoa, I was really fired up for a second. I had to stop myself. You understand that this is your reality. And ideally, your reality should look how you want it to look. And once again, the nuance is coming through of like, yeah, sure, some people have an easier time. Some people have a better time because some people have family that they can lean on. Some people have friends that they can lean on, etc., etc. But I want to encourage you. I want to impart this into your soul if you want to take it, if you want to receive it, and remind you that from anywhere that you stand, any moment where you are cognizant of the understanding, you can change your life around. Like, you being aware that you have the power in your life to do so is all that you need. You don't need a bunch of desks. You don't need a computer. You don't need a phone. I mean, ideally, you would be watching this on a phone or a computer, but however you're watching us, you do have the ability to like take steps towards the life that you want to live. And I don't know, some of you might not know exactly what you want in your life. You might not know exactly how you want to live your life. And that's okay. That's fine. But if you're watching this video, I do want to believe that you were led here, you were guided here. And so, yeah. I mentioned silver spoons, and to some degree, I realized in 2024, that I was kind of born with a little bit of a silver spoon in my mouth. And I don't know, I don't want to say I've rejected it, but I definitely never wore it as something, you know, that I was cognizant of even being proud of, you know, like it wasn't until I like graduated high school, until like I got out of school, where I looked back and I was like, oh yeah, I had a very, very abundant childhood. And like, though it wasn't like everything that it could have been, and though like I definitely, like there's definitely parts of it that were very traumatic, there were definitely parts of it that like I'll never get back, etc., etc. But like looking back, I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely had a lot of opportunities, and some of those opportunities were taken. It's not like I squandered my childhood, but what I'm saying is that I'm coming from the perspective of someone who has had a lot of opportunities. And when I think about that, it is a factor now in the way that I like manifest, and the way that I like, you know, like ride the waves. Because I've never had a problem manifesting money. I've never had a problem, you know, attracting things to me, attracting situations to me, or like whatever. But I did mention that jealousy thing earlier, and like that's also a factor. Like everybody loves to be like, people who think that everyone's jealous of them are delusional, and to some degree, some people who think that, yes, but like coming from a space of love, coming from a space of, I wish we could all get along. I wish we could all just like sing songs and get along. Coming from that space and noticing weird energy, there's no other truth other than somebody's jealous of me, and it just is what it is. Like, doesn't make them a bad person, but it is what it is. And when you're sitting in your abundant energy, when you're sitting in your queendom or whatever, however you want to phrase it, you really do have to be mindful of the way that other people perceive you and the way that other people glean your energy. People being jealous is that the way that they look at the world is somewhat skewed. And I'm not saying, please hear me correctly, I'm not saying in this moment that the way that I look at the world is completely 100% accurate. I'm not saying that I'm a perfect vessel. But what I can say from my perspective is that a lot of people have skewed perspectives and don't accurately see the world around them. Because a lot of people are living out of survival mode. They're living out of, I need to protect myself, I need to be safe, rather than I'm love, rather than I am abundant, rather than, I am a fragment of God, and there's really nothing to worry about. See the difference between those two collective of thoughts? If you're existing within your energy of I don't have enough, there will never be enough, then yeah, there won't be enough for you, but there are enough resources on this planet for us to all and that's also another thing. There is forced corruption, there's forced imbalance, there's corporate greed and stuff like that also plays a factor in why a lot of people feel like they don't have abundance, why they feel like they can't be abundance. But once again, when you move past that, when you look past that, you know that it's possible, And I meant to say this. I meant to I kind of lost my train of thought because I got so passionate. But I used to be homeless. That was also a thing I wanted to say. Even though I come from I don't want to say wealth. I don't I don't come from wealth. I might be building wealth, but I don't come from wealth. Though I come from a little bit of money, though I come from a little bit of something. I've been homeless. I've been out in the trenches. I've been in a place where it seemed like there were no options. It seemed like there was no hope. And we could argue whether or not I put myself into these positions. We could argue that. It doesn't matter. The reason, and then that's also another thing why a lot of people lack, why they exist in scarcity, because they're always looking to blame somebody. They're always looking to and it's does it matter whose fault it is? It is what it is, and now you have to fix it. If you want to get over it, now you have to fix it. Instead, you're just pointing at it and being oh, well, look what you did. And it's okay, but they're not going to fix it. So, you know what I mean? That's, you can't be a sort of blamey sort of person if you're trying to be, in your abundance energy. You can't do that. I mean, you can do whatever you want, technically, but it's not compatible. Though I'm sure that any person coming from wealth with an avoidant personality will tell you otherwise, will be proof otherwise, because I'm sure there are people out there who actually, and now that I think about it more, I'm 99% sure I've met people who were very abundant but also very blamey, but they were abundant because that was the energy that was programmed into them. Once again, the people with the silver spoons, the people who already kind of have a step up, it's already programmed into their DNA. They already come from having a certain level of something. And so, and then at some point, the problem, if we want to call it a problem, really just becomes society's programmings and the belief of lack and stuff like that. Because it's a belief. To believe that you're abundant, it's a belief. To know that you're abundant, it's a belief. And it might also be a fact, but it also is determined by your belief. I'm sorry, I'm getting into a tangent. I'm really passionate. This is I really like this video. I hope that this is doing something for you. Do me a favor and not tap the screen. If you wanna, I think, no, that's not. That would be fast forwarding or rewinding. If you want to like the video for me, check out the description. Most likely there will be a list of links in the description. I recently published an ebook, 2 ebooks actually. There's a poetry book and then there's an informational book. And if you want to check that out, if you want to read that, you can check that out. And if you don't, then that's also cool. But I still wrote them. They're still there. So, and if you'd like to work with me one-on-one, you could definitely join the Patreon. You can join for free, but you can also join as a paid member. And that would suffice. If you join as a paid member, then yeah, you get discounts and stuff. And yeah, that's how that goes. I'm sorry. gonna be super transparent and say that, like, within me talking about this and stuff, I'm still kind of coming into my own understanding and my own, like, stability within my abundance and whatnot, like realizing it and things of the matter. You see how I tried so hard not to say or like I was trying not to do that whole sentence enhancer thing. Guess I'm also being reminded, because I'm thinking about that episode of SpongeBob where they were like using sentence enhancers. They were using swear words and they like censored out a lot of what they were saying in a really comical way. I'm being reminded of that episode, and also I'm being reminded of the notion that you have to be careful about your words. If you really want to live in abundance, if you really want to be in abundance, you have to be careful about the words that you say in jest and as well as also seriously. You can make jokes. You can make jokes. Don't think I'm saying that you shouldn't make jokes or you can't say things that you don't mean sometimes, because that I do that. Sometimes I say really outrageous jokes that I would never like enact in a million years. Like sometimes I've joked, I've been like, you better drink water today or I'm gonna come to your house and set your house on fire. Also, shout out to California. I've been making that joke the last few weeks, but now that that's a thing, it seems like a little insensitive when I say it, so oops. But sometimes I'm literally like, I will come to your house and I will murder you if you don't like eat healthy. You know, I make jokes like that, and obviously I'm not going to fucking do that because what? But what I'm saying is that, like, you should be careful and mindful of the words that you use, especially when it comes to your money and your abundance and the opportunity for abundance, you know? A little sort of thing with my mom a couple days ago, because she asked me if I had money, and her intention with asking me that was so that she could give me some money, which thankful for that source. But she asked me that, and I told her that I did have money, which technically was not the truth. I mean, I have change, I have cents, I have quarters and stuff, but I didn't necessarily have a substantial amount of money at the time. And so when she asked me that, I am thinking in manifestation mode, I'm thinking in creation mode, and I'm like, yeah, no, originally what I asked her was like, what do you need? Like, what do you, because I mean, I don't know why I would think that she would be asking me for money, but that's how my mind was operating in that moment. I was like, what do you need? Like, are you asking me for money? Because I've been in a position where people ask me for money, like when I'm on the street, when I'm like, because I feel like I look like somebody I look like somebody with like affluence, that's the word. I feel like I look like that. And so people ask me for money all the time, and if I have it, sure, I'll give you $1, I'll give you like whatever, you know. And we got into a thing because I said I had money, but I really didn't. And what I was, you know, I was being careful in my words, and she was like, well, why didn't you just say that you didn't have money? I'm like, I explained to her, and I was like, because I like to be careful about my words. I don't like to say that I don't have money, because no. And she just wouldn't accept it. She just didn't want to accept what I was like saying to her. And that's fine. I'm not looking for acceptance. I'm not looking for validation. But in this video, I would like the validation. I would like the knowing that this was helpful. So if you found this helpful, if you found this to be useful, please do me a favor and like the video, and maybe share this with someone who would benefit from this, and comment down below. Let me know. Didn't mean to rhyme, but I guess it's that time for you to comment and tell me that you love this video. All right. Thank you so much. Have a nice rest of your day. Stay optimistic.